Hey folks, next thing I want to do is to dynamically generate the Open Graph meta images. Meta images are things that you share a URL in Twitter or Facebook or Slack, and the image that shows up, that's a meta image that needs to be made beforehand so that Slack or whatever would be able to embed it into it. So I've already made the layout, but this is just HTML. So what I did is I just made a thumbnail component in React. And this is really cool because I was able to just use my existing site styles in it and then just generate what I want, use CSS to place them wherever I want. And the idea is that I'm going to just take a screenshot of each of these dynamically with not Phantom JS. What is it? I'll show you what it's called in a second. It's what's it called? Puppeteer. And there's a bunch of people that have done this. The Zeit folks have a package that do it. Probably the most helpful one that I found so far is Lee Holiday has a bunch of YouTube videos and this repo, which shows how to take a screenshot with Puppeteer, specifically with Lambda. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So that's the approach I'm going. There are a few other approaches. There's some packages in Gatsby that will do it for you, but they are all based on this thing called GIMP, which it doesn't have full control of CSS that this does. So that's out the window. Another option is that I could generate these on build time. So as I do my site build, I could also generate a thumbnail for each one. I'm going to be doing mine in a serverless function, mostly just because I want to try that. It certainly would be a good option as well to do it at build time. It would take build time a little bit longer, but it's not really that big of a deal. So I'm going to be doing it in a serverless function. Now, the next thing you need to know about is that in order to take a screenshot, you need to have a headless browser. And a headless browser means just like Chrome or Firefox or whatever running under the hood. And when you run code in a serverless function, usually you don't you aren't allowed to use native add-ons. But in AWS Lambda, which is the serverless function that powers Netlify functions and Begin and Zeit's now, all of those things, all of those are running on AWS Lambda, and they do have Chrome available so you can use Puppeteer. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I wrote some real basic code here. I switched over. Currently, I'm just using Netlify functions, which is almost exactly the same thing as Begin and a whole bunch of the other ones out there, just because it's just using AWS Lambda under the hood. So what I've done is I've made a functions folder here. And inside of that, I have an OG image folder and ogimage.js. Additionally, you get a package JSON that lists the dependencies. In our case, we want Puppeteer Core. The difference between Puppeteer and Puppeteer Core is that Puppeteer comes with Chrome and Puppeteer Core doesn't come with Chrome. It assumes you already have it. And we need to use that because we're using AWS Lambda. Then in my ogimage.js, this is where I've taken the code from Lee Holiday's thing here. I kind of looked through his repo and found the file that we have there. And the way that it works is that you open up, you launch a browser, you pass it your options, and the options are either going to be supplied by the AWS Lambda Chrome, or if we're in development mode, we're giving a local instance of Chrome on our computer. Because again, Puppeteer Core doesn't come with Chrome installed. It's not necessary. We already have it installed both on our computer and our serverless function provider. Then what we do is there's this function that I just took straight from Lee's thing right here. And it basically launches the browser. It opens up a page. It sets the viewport size to 1200 by 630. Then it goes to that URL that we want, and then finally takes a screenshot and returns it. Then this is the serverless function part of it. We have a handler that we go ahead and try to take a screenshot, and then I am taking that will return to us a buffer. And the buffer can be returned as the body is in base 64, and we pass the is base 64 encoded. This is Netlify functions. Same thing with begin as well, assuming all the rest of the other providers as well. So that's where I'm at right now. I recorded some of this, me coding it, but it wasn't really all that interesting. So I thought I would just get you up to speed and show you how I sort of take it across the finish line. Now, the last thing I haven't figured out yet is like, how do you store these? Because Netlify functions doesn't have storage. So we got to put them somewhere. We'll figure that out later though. So let's get the sucker running. So I am now running Netlify dev, which will in turn run Gatsby build. And we get this localhost 8888. And the way that it works is that I just have like a thumbnail page, and this thumbnail page will render out the pieces of data that I pass to it. So the title of, hey, and then we'll put it on there, right? So this is just a page that someone can visit, and we're going to visit, passing it the URL and a bunch of other pieces of data and take a screenshot of it. So I have some examples here. So if I just like rendered out a quick little page with some iframes on it so I could design the thing with some real data. And that's a bad example. Give me this one. It's a short URL. There we go. That's the React's new context API, and obviously it will be a little bit more something like that, which is cool. By the way, I realized my logo says West Bus right here. I'm changing it. I scooped over the top there so it wouldn't say West Bus. See? West Bus, West Boss. So don't worry, that's going to be changed soon. I just have to re-export it. Okay, so I've got this URL here, and I'm going to my thumbnail.js. And the way that you visit a Netlify function is you go to /.netlify /functions the name of the function. So ours is OG image. I visit it, and that didn't work. I think it's because we need to visit Netlify, which is on 8888. I think it will proxy our Gatsby website, which is running on port 8000. So there we go. So that works. What I've done here is I've just tried to get the screenshot of westboss.com. So now the idea is can I pass it the URL of one of my thumbnails? And will it screenshot that? No. Oh. You know what? It's probably setting the viewport, going to the page and screenshotting it immediately. So I bet we have to wait for a number of seconds. So we'll do Puppeteer, wait for page to load. Okay. So page.goto. Can I pass that? See, it's taking a little bit longer because it has to download the image. Shouldn't be taking that long though. Oh, wait for selector. DOM content loaded. Oh, we want to wait for load. Yeah, we want to wait until load. A load will wait for all the images on the page to load. So let's see what we got there. No. DOM content loaded. This is jQuery all over again, trying to wait for images to be loaded. Let's just put a second in there. So I have a package, and I'm going to install. So cd into functions, OG image, npm install wait. And then I'll say const wait is equal to require wait. And then what we'll do is we'll just wait for 1 second. Let's see if that is what is causing it first, and then we'll figure out how to wait for it. So now we're waiting for 1 second. There we go. So that was a problem. I'll figure out what that load event is. Hi, buddy. Come here. You're so noisy. Come here. Say hello. I'll figure out what that load event is in just a second, but it looks like this is rendering out. It does look like those images are a bit pixelated because it's probably not high resolution. I wonder if we can search for Puppeteer high DPI. To mimic high DPI retina, increase the device scale factor. Okay. Device scale factor 2. Let's try it. That did nothing. Let's try a PNG instead. See if that makes it a bit better. Quality probably won't. Quality is unsupported for PNG screenshots. All right, we'll take that off then. Yeah, it's the same thing. I wonder what the difference is between sizes. I'm assuming Lee figured this out, but let's just check ourselves. So refresh. The page was 269K. And if we change it to JPEG with the quality of 100, 269K versus 285 with the JPEG. So it's slightly smaller with a PNG, at least for my design. So I'm going to switch that to PNG. Set viewport, device scale factor. So that goes here. Oh boy. So now it's 700K. That's too big for an image. So maybe we go a little bit kind of halfway through, 1.5. I'm going to have to figure out that even 200K might be a bit too big. Although maybe Twitter and them, they compress them themselves. So you just hand them the high res version. That looks pretty good to me. If I have an issue with it, I'll tackle that. Okay. So now we need to pass the URL to our function, which will then pass that data to our preview.html. So we need to hot potato the data twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my blog page and render it out on there. So I'll go to localhost 8888. I'll go to the blog and I'll open up my blog. This needs to be reverted to PostGrid. And that is a URL. Actually, I need to keep that. So const thumbnail URL is equal to that. Get rid of that. Okay. There we go. And then I got this little slug as well. How do I get that out of there? There we go. All right. So for each of these, I want to give myself an image tag where the source is going to be equal to that Netlify URL. Let's try that. And alt is equal to post.fields.title. Okay. This will eventually not be in there. Okay. We need a width of 400. Let's just clamp it for now. I just want to be able to see them. All right. So they're all showing up, which is great. Now we need to dynamicize them. So to this, we will pass now query. We'll call that thumbnail query. And we'll pass that to the open graph image. So it's got a question mark on it already. Got to change this to backticks. Okay, now if I inspect one of these images, that should give us the thumbnail query. You see how this is booping open and closed a couple times? That's because Chrome is running on my computer to generate them. So if I visit this URL in a browser, okay, now we're passing all the info. Now we got to go back to this. And how do we get like the URL of the page? Like, is that in the event or is that in the context? Let's see. Let's get rid of this try catch. We don't have errors in our code. Oh, let's console log. I'm joking, by the way. I'll fix that. I don't like using try catch. I'd rather you chain a dot then or a dot catch on the end. So let's see what we got in this event. Here, clear it out. Oh boy, this is the event. Yes. Query string parameters. That's what we have. Oh, it's already parsed for us. Okay, so event.query string parameters. We'll search how to turn object into query string parameters using map and join, using jQuery, parameter encoding. There's got to be that new API. URL search params. Yeah, append. The toString. That's what we want. All right, we got it. Okay, so it's event. What do we call that? Query string params. So console log event.query string parameters. And then we need to turn that into a string. So const query QS is equal to new URL search params. Can I just pass an object to URL search params? Console log QS. Why is this white? Okay, let's refresh that sucker. Oh, I console log too many things here. Let's get some of these out of here. Get rid of the page. That's fine. Yes, that's our URL search params. Good. Okay. And then if I do dot toString. Yes, that's exactly what I want. You don't need to mess with any of those blog posts. Just use the new URL search param API. Way better. Okay. Then we need to then interpolate that into here. So just the backticks. Interpolate the QS.toString. And now if I refresh, it should say uses not reaction context API. It's a screenshot of the React. That's hilarious. Cannot find path for thumbnail. Oh, I forgot the question mark. That's funny. That's kind of helpful. It takes a screenshot of the error screen. It works. So now we go back to our website and refresh. This should pop up. See how my Chrome is opening and closing a bunch of times. Response was status 200. Yeah, that means it's okay. I'll see that one. Didn't work. That one is too long. And the rest of them didn't work. Why not? Let's see why not. Looks like it works to me. I think that we're probably hammering Gatsby. Gatsby dev. And Gatsby dev can only have like 5 connections at once. So I think I'm wrecking it by doing it like this. So what I need to do is not to put this on each loop, but let's put it on individual blog posts. So we'll go back to our blog here. There we go. That looks good. I can take that / off. Beautiful. Now if I go to another one of my blog posts, I should be able to see that it's just generating dynamically for me. There we go. That one's showing up. It's cut off, and that one looks good. So the cutoffness is easy to fix. I just have to say if the title is less than or greater than 40, maybe 32 characters. Let's try that. There we go. Looking pretty good. So those are now being dynamically generated. And now the question is like, where do I store them? Because they can be cached. They're obviously taking forever right now, but I can't have them take that long normally. They need to be like already generated when the first person uses that one. So we got to figure out where do we stick these things so that they can be cached. And the two options I have now are store them on an existing image host and then pull them out, or use some sort of key value storage and store the base 64 buffer string, just store that in a database and pull them out as I need it. I'm going to have a think on that one, do some research. Maybe Mr. Holiday here has already figured that out. But I'll take a look at how that all works, and I will record another video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Talk to you later.